All right, everyone. Again, a very warm welcome and good morning to everybody. Uh, for today's session, we have a very wonderful session today by our guest speaker. The session is on benefits of triggered emails, and I would like to thank everyone for your time with us today. My name is Smita, and I'm working with Niche Software Solutions as a marketing manager, and I handle the marketing for our email marketing tool called Juvlon. As I said, we have a very wonderful guest for today's webinar, and that all the way from USA. She's awake at her early morning just to speak with all of us. Everyone, please welcome Lisa Ferguson, email marketing specialist, a freelance journalist, and the co-owner of media company McQueen's Media. Lisa, would you want to say a hello to our audience over here?
I'd love to, yes. Hello to everyone. I'm really excited to talk with you guys about triggered emails this morning. A little earlier on my side of the pond, as Smita mentioned, it's about 1:30, but fortunately I'm a night owl, so that works out. As mentioned, I handle a lot of email marketing and content marketing for the company that we run, McEwen's Media. And before that, I was a journalist, a television journalist, so I popped around the U.S. For working for several television stations. So looking forward to chatting with you guys about triggered emails and also looking forward to answering some of your questions about them as well.
Great. Thanks a lot, Lisa, to be here at such a odd time. I'm sure you have a hot cup of coffee with you to keep up, and I'm sure the topic itself will keep everyone else up today.
That's right.
Okay, friends, I'm sure we all are eager to hear to Lisa, and she too is waiting to share her thoughts with all of us. But as usual, before we begin with today's session, I have few housekeeping announcements to make. Please note that our session is being recorded and we'll make the link available with everyone after the session. We have kept everyone on mute to ensure that any background noise and conversations are kept private. To ask questions, please make use of the question box on your GoToWebinar window, the window where you have just chatted and told me whether you are able to hear me, you want me to be louder, and all that. So use that window to write comments, questions, anything that you want us to see in this question box. After the presentation, we'll try to attend all your questions. If not, we'll try to see to it that we'll reply through email to the questions. Having said this, I'll just quickly take through the agenda that we have for today's webinar. Lisa will help us know what is triggered email, what are the benefits of triggered emails. She has some wonderful real-time examples to share about the triggered emails, tips of effective triggered emails, and after that, I'll just quickly show how Juvlon helps you in scheduling these triggered emails, and we'll take over the questions and answers from there. Okay. Okay. To begin with, Lisa has one poll for all of us. This will set us our right stage for all of us, and we'll be able to know how exactly we are using triggered emails, if any. So I'll just launch the poll, and Lisa, I'll let you know the results of this poll also.
Sounds good.
Okay. Here we go, friends. So please go ahead and let us know if ever you have used triggered emails. And there is a following question after we hear. Yes, Ganesh, Lisa is going to tell us what is triggered email. We'll just wait for this poll to over. We have almost 70% people who have answered. We'll just give 3-4 more seconds for this. Great. Cool. We have good polls coming up, good answers coming in. Fine. I'll just close the poll now and show up the results. Okay. Lisa, we have 57% of our audience who says they have not used triggered emails. So I'm sure your next slide about what triggered emails are going to let them know what triggered emails are, and probably they might have used it. And 43% people say yes, they have used it. So I'm sure they have more to know from effective tips that you have to share about the triggered emails. I'll just take over to the next slide and I'll invite Lisa to take over from here, and she will explain us what exactly is triggered email. Give me a minute. I'll just make Lisa the presenter, and from there she'll take it forward. Lisa, I've made you the presenter. Go ahead and take the control. All yours.
Okay. Are you able to see my screen? Am I sharing it?
Friends, you'll have to help us with this. Some of them are saying yes. Give me a minute, Lisa.
Okay.
Okay.
There we go. Yep, now I've got the option.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Well, let's start off with the basics here. I know that some of you are probably already familiar with a triggered email since you're saying in the poll that you are familiar, and some of you probably aren't. So let's start with the basics and we'll build from there. The idea behind a triggered email is that it's an automatic message that's sent to a recipient. A few examples to help you kind of illustrate this definition would be a welcome email. So let's say a new contact signs up for your email list. You can set up your account to automatically trigger a welcome email to welcome that particular new contact into your business or brand. Another example would be to send a follow-up email when a customer clicks on a certain link within your email. So the idea here is that it's an automation process. It's going to make your life a little bit easier because it's going to allow you to set up your account to reach your target audience without having to sign in and send individual emails. It's all about an automation process here, and they're triggered when you want them to be and scheduled when you want them to be. Now our next slide here talks a little bit about the benefits of the triggered emails, and you're going to notice that there's quite a few of them. The first and foremost benefit when we're talking about triggered emails is the fact that they can save you some time. And whether you're a business owner or you're in the marketing department of a business, time is money. We all know it. So rather than signing into your account, handling contacts one at a time, you can automate some of this process to make your life a little bit easier so that your time management is that much more efficient. Another benefit is the idea that you're going to make a great first impression, particularly when you're talking about welcome emails. It's a really good example. You know, when a new person comes on board, wants to sign up for your email list, they're going to get an immediate response if you set up a triggered welcome email. And that makes your business and your brand look good. It tells that customer, hey, these people are on top of what they're doing. They're already sending me some information about this particular company. This must be the real deal. You know, they really get intrigued by what it is that you're doing, and you're making that good first impression. It's almost like a virtual handshake, if you will, right? You're getting a chance to make a good first impression on that particular client or prospective customer for that matter. You also get the chance to capitalize on a sales opportunity. Much like making that first impression, you know, you kind of have a small window of time. If someone's just signed up for your email list or seems to be intrigued by your company or brand, that's the time to really capitalize on that sales opportunity because they are thinking about your business or your product or your service. So if you're able to send a triggered email, you might be able to turn that prospective customer into an actual paying customer. We all want that. Another benefit, you're going to be providing value to your customer. You can figure out which triggered emails work best for your business, create valuable content, schedule those emails, and get those out to your customers. Your customers are going to realize that those emails that you send provide a value to them. You're also going to be able to keep your customers engaged. Triggered emails are a great way to do that. They kind of serve as a reminder in some ways Some people use an automated birthday email with a coupon in it, for example. But the idea here being that if you set up a triggered email, your name, your business, your brand is always kind of in that customer's mind. So let's say you're running an auto repair shop, for example. Well, if you're sending out a triggered email that maybe offers monthly auto care tips, maintenance tips, well, the next time that customer maybe gets into a car accident, a fender bender, needs an oil change, they're going to remember that name or that brand in their head, right? Because you've been in touch with them via email, via these triggered emails. It's a great way to really keep them engaged.
Lisa, I'm so sorry to disturb you. There are few comments. People want you to be a little bit louder.
Oh, sure, absolutely. I can certainly do that.
Thanks. I'm so
No
sorry
problem.
to, yeah, okay.
No, that's fine. No problem. Um, let's talk a little bit about some examples of triggered emails. We've got some great examples here, and these are all pulled actually right out of my inbox for the most part. So hopefully these are all real-time examples and things that everybody can take and learn from. We've mentioned as we've been working through the slides here that a welcome email is a great way to set up a triggered email, one of the most popular probably. And when a new contact adds to your list, you can certainly trigger this kind of welcome email. A lot of welcome emails offer a deal in some way, shape, or form. You'll notice the example that we have here is from J. Crew. It sells clothing and such, and the deal that they offer here is free shipping, so that's pretty nice. We've got another example of a welcome email here, and I think this one is actually better than the previous one that I just showed you for one reason. You'll notice that there's still a deal, right? If you look down here at the bottom, there's still $10 off a $75 purchase or more from this particular cosmetics business. But if you look in the middle of the email here, you'll notice that there's some bullet points here. And those bullet points are a great addition to this particular triggered welcome email because they're reinforcing the customer's decision to sign up for your email list. So just a quick glance at those bullet points, you will now receive a weekly email with the latest promotional offers, offers redeemable at Ulta.com, beauty tips, and notifications of new brands and products. So right there, it's telling the customer automatically what they get and why signing up for your emails was such a great idea. So I think that's an addition that you should consider making if you are sending out a triggered welcome email. Here's another example. This one is also pretty popular, particularly with social media these days. A lot of businesses are running contests or giveaways, these kinds of things. And if you're doing something like that, people always want to know on the other end of that contest, did they get my entry? When is this contest over? These kinds of things. So you can set up a triggered email so that anytime someone new comes along and signs up for your contest, you can just send them a quick note that says, hey, yep, we did indeed get your contest entry. Thanks so much for entering. And that's what this particular email does. If you kind of take a look at it, just kind of lets that person know that yes, indeed, we did get your entry and thank you for entering. Another point I want to point out with this particular email that's a good tip to take away from this particular triggered email is if you look over to the left here, you see that pink bar that says start shopping. That's a call to action. So you'll notice that this email doesn't just say, yes, we got your entry, but it gives the customers another way to interact with your business. It gives them another call to action. And that's something you want to continue to include in your triggered emails as well. Another triggered email example, a good one, is a milestone email. We're talking about birthdays, anniversaries, these kinds of things. They're a great way to stay top of mind. Again, it's just kind of having that brand recognition that lands in someone's inbox, something that you can set up and schedule. Now, this one in particular to your right is from Banana Republic, which is a retailer. They sell clothing and such. And obviously, if you take a look, just simple wording here, happy birthday from Banana Republic, and they give that particular customer 15% off. Nice deal, not a bad way to stay top of mind, but keep in mind, you can send out a triggered email for that customer's birthday, or maybe it's your business's birthday. Maybe your business reaches a milestone, hits an anniversary or has a birthday. You can send out triggered emails when that happens as well, because you can certainly schedule them ahead of time. Another triggered email is a content offering. So if you take a look at this particular example, you can download a white paper from this particular client. Now, if someone were to download this, if my business sent this and someone downloaded it, I could then set up a triggered email to send that person more information maybe the next day or maybe a week later. And when you're talking about this kind of a triggered email campaign, you may have heard of the concept of a drip campaign. Now, the idea behind that is that you slowly feed that potential customer a little bit more information as you go along, almost like a dripping faucet. That's where it gets the name. So if this particular person who receives this email did indeed download this white paper, maybe the next day you would send them an email that includes, a nice list of your services. Maybe 4 or 5 days later you would send them, another follow-up email that talks a little bit about, some of the sales that you have coming up, something along those lines. So the idea here is that if you offer content, it's a good gauge. You can kind of see who's interested in your business or product and then set up more triggered emails so that the interested parties can get more interaction with your company. Another triggered email we've got here as an example is a follow-up email. So let's say someone does indeed sign up for your services. You've obviously already sent them their triggered welcome email, which is great, but now you'll want to follow up with them, and a great way to follow up with them is to help these potential clients or customers utilize your products or services better. Right, so in particular here in this example, Hootsuite is a social media management tool. So you can use this account to, set up your Twitter and Facebook and such. I'm sure some of you are familiar with it and probably use it. When I signed up for Hootsuite not too long ago, they of course sent me the welcome email, which is a triggered welcome email, but they also sent me several of these follow-up emails that offer a video link. You can see that you can play this video. The idea here being that you're helping that customer get to know the functionality of your particular product or service. And it's a great idea because it helps people be more engaged with your products. They're going to get more use out of them. And again, that's valuable to that particular person. You want your customers to get the most value that they can out of your product or service. So this is a great triggered email to set up if someone did indeed sign up for your service or maybe even purchased one of your products. This is also a very common triggered email. We talked about the welcome email there at the start being really common, but the purchase confirmation is probably very common and a great example of a triggered email. If someone goes onto your site and buys a product, they will automatically get a purchase confirmation. You'll see the example here is from an online retailer. Typically the information that's included in these kinds of triggered emails is just confirmation information, your order number, when things will ship, that kind of idea. Just a quick tip here with this kind of triggered email, you always want to provide a point of contact. Maybe the customer entered their address incorrectly, or maybe they want to change part of their order, add more to it, whatever it might be. You always want to provide some contact information on this particular triggered email to help the customer out. And this particular triggered email kind of goes along with the purchase confirmation email. This would be sent after someone makes a purchase on your website or at your business. The idea here is that you can trigger a survey or feedback email. So you know that that particular person just interacted with your business, just made a purchase, it's fresh in their mind. Now you want to know what the feedback is. You want to know if there's a way that you can better serve your customers. It's always a great idea to get feedback, and you can set up a triggered email to do just that. Quick tip on this particular triggered email is to explain the time commitment that's involved with any particular survey. People get a little hesitant of the survey sometimes because they're just not sure if it's going to take 30 seconds or 30 minutes. So if you look down here at the bottom of this particular example, you can see that it says it should only take about 30 seconds. That's a good idea. You want short, sweet surveys so that people are willing to take them, and you want to tell people exactly what they can expect when they take that survey. But survey and feedback emails, very common, very helpful as well, so that you can learn how to better serve your customers. So those are some great examples that we went over, and keep in mind those are just the most common triggered emails. Your business is unique. You can certainly figure out some different ways to use them, but that kind of gives you a good idea of where to start, certainly. And now we're going to go over just some tips for an effective triggered email. So when you're sitting down to write these, one of the first things you want to realize is that you still need to write in a conversational tone. Sometimes the triggered emails seem a bit more robotic just because it's scheduled and automated, but you still want to write with the same voice that your business and brand always does. Just because it's scheduled and sent out later or triggered, when someone clicks on a particular link, doesn't mean that it should feel cold or stale. You still want to make sure that you've got a solid conversational tone happening there. We mentioned a little while ago to always include a call to action. That's something you want in every single email. It's always a good idea. Even if you're just giving your customer more information about your particular business or brand or product or what have you, you always want to give them more information. Maybe it's links to your social media accounts. Maybe it's a link to continue shopping. Whatever it might be, the idea here is to always, always, always give customers, or potential customers for that matter, a way to interact with your business. You'll also want to keep your triggered emails short, and I suppose that rule really does go for most any triggered emails, even, or most any emails really. Even in the email example that we talked about when it comes to a content offering, you notice that there was just a snippet, kind of a synopsis of what they would get if they downloaded that white paper. It wasn't the entire white paper, right? It was an entire essay. People aren't looking for that when it comes to emails, and with triggered emails, it's the same thing. People don't have a lot of time, and your email is indeed competing with a lot of other emails that that person has signed up for. So you want to make sure that when you're writing a triggered email, you keep it short. Also want to make sure that you proofread your triggered emails. One of the pitfalls that sometimes people fall into when it comes to triggered emails is they'll go into their account, they'll create this email, they'll schedule it, and they'll think, oh, well, I have time. This is going to go out for a couple of weeks. I'll just come back in and I'll proofread it later. Time passes, that email kind of slips off your to-do list, and it winds up going out without being proofread. It's not good sometimes. Now, if you're fortunate, you're a really good speller and spell check caught everything and it's not a problem, but you certainly want to make sure that you proofread it and proofread it again. Rule of thumb being don't schedule it unless you've proofread it several times. And of course, you want to make sure that you don't have any broken links or typos, any of those issues as well. Now you're going to get a demo here in a couple of minutes. They'll kind of show you how to work this feature through Juvlon, but you also want to be able to watch your metrics. You want to see what works, what your customers are responding to, so you can alter those triggered emails to meet any of the needs that you might have for your particular business. And the last tip that we have is really to try new things. We did go over some great examples to get you started, but your business is unique and so are your customers. So you really need to kind of branch out and think of different ways for you to experiment with different triggered emails. So with that, I'm going to turn it over so you guys can get a little demo.
Yes, thanks a lot, Lisa. This definitely, all those real-time examples and those tips of how to create effective triggered emails, this definitely was very, very useful to all of us. I'm sure the audience has noted it down, and they definitely will be making great use of this. Friends, with this, I'll be just quickly showing you a quick demo of how you can use Juvlon to set up these triggered emails. And with this, I'm glad to announce that Juvlon has recently released a feature that will help you send out or schedule these triggered emails. For the ones those who are new to Juvlon, Juvlon is a permission-based email marketing software. That means Juvlon supports email marketing only for opt-in database. Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, Juvlon 2 has the option of sending out the triggered emails. Allow me to quickly present you how to schedule these emails. Before that, I just want to make sure that my screen is visible to everyone. So is everyone able to see the Juvlon application over here? Yes, okay. So I have logged into Juvlon, and first we will try to see how we need to pre-create the triggered emails. So we go to view all campaigns. In view all campaigns, we have created an option, a campaign that is named as triggered mails. You will see that this option is not editable or you cannot delete it. In this campaign, you just go ahead and create the mailers that you want to send as triggered emails. Just to save the time for today's webinar, I have already created 3 triggered emails about juvlon.com, welcome email and birthday email. I'll show you click-based events. That is, as Lisa explained us, if someone clicks on a particular link in your email, there are 2 things that will be triggered. One is the person will be directed to the web page that you have hyperlinked it to, and second is the person will also receive the triggered email. So for that, we'll just go ahead and create a test email campaign. I'll just show you how you can how easy it is to set up this in Juvlon. I again have a test email campaign created. I go ahead and create a test mailer over here. I'll just quickly create a new mailer with the subject line which I had tried this yesterday for the practice purpose. So this is the test mailer for the webinar. We select the sender ID from here. We select the file. So I'll just go ahead and select the file that I have to send. So this is an email that I'm assuming we are sending out as an introduction email to let people know what exactly is Juvlon. And I have uploaded the file and I create the mailer. This way the email gets created. Now in this, when someone clicks on Juvlon, I want them to receive the welcome email also. You can see a small link option to link this word. You just go over here as usual, the text on the cover, we type in the website, and then we click on track. When we click on track, there is an option set trigger which appears. We just go ahead and select that, and then you'll see all those mails that we have created in the campaign, trigger mails, are visible over here. Simply go ahead and select the mail that you want to send. I want people to receive about juvlon.com. I just go ahead, say OK and save. That's it. Just go ahead, do the send testing and then schedule the email. As soon as the person receives the email and clicks on Juvlon, he'll be directed to juvlon.com and at the same time will receive the email in the inbox. So this was about the click-based events. Just like Lisa had mentioned about the milestone emails, I just loved that term. We call it subscription-based triggers. That is emails like welcome emails, birthday wishes, anniversary greetings. So all these are milestone events, emails as Lisa mentioned, or we call it as subscription-based triggers. Juvlon helps you set that also. Now all these triggered emails that we just spoke, subscription-based, are based on the list. So we go to the list option. I have one test list that I have already uploaded for this webinar. Here's the test list. Once the list is visible, we can see manage triggers option over here. Just go ahead, click it, and I had created this earlier. Just let me delete it so that I can show you how we can do it. Go ahead, create triggers. Let's first create welcome email. This is when any new subscription is added, like for example, if somebody subscribes to your newsletter or to your white paper, you can send a welcome email to the person. In this again, there are 2 options. One is subscribe immediately. You send out the email as soon as somebody subscribes, or you have a double opt-in where you make sure that the first email has reached the inbox and then only send across the triggered email. So for this webinar purpose, I'm just selecting subscribe immediately. you just go over, sorry. This takes a little bit more time to load, so I'm sure, yeah. So here it is, and we will select welcome email and create it. So as soon as somebody joins in, this welcome email will get triggered. Okay. Second option that we saw is of birthday or anniversary, which is date based. So this is the rate. So this can be your birthdays, this could be anniversaries, this could be the end of your subscription, anything of that sort. So this can be matching date, less than or greater than, and you can select the columns that are there. And in the similar way, you can just go ahead and select the template that is available, birthday mailer, and create. Simple. So as soon as you find, as soon as the system finds somebody's birthday is matching with today's date, the mail will be sent out. We have already pre-created the mailer. So that's how it is. It's very simple in Juvlon to set these triggered emails. Those who have not tried Juvlon as yet, go ahead and take a 30 days free trial. There's no credit card required. There's no payment to be made for the free trial. It's absolutely free, 30 days free trial. You'll find the link on juvlon.com. Try it yourself. Okay, that's it. I think from my side for Juvlon demo also, and I'll open this session for the questions. I'll just open the question window, and I'll pull out the questions that have been asked. Lisa, I'll read out the questions for you.
Okay.
Yeah, good. Okay, there is one good question that has come, that how effective are triggered emails as compared to the emails with respect to click-through rates. So, Lisa, would you like to take this forward?
Sure, absolutely. You know, I think it all depends. It's hard to give an actual percentage if that's what you're indeed looking for. But I do think that they're very effective, and I think they can be just as effective as, you know, the normal emails that you're sending out. I think your click-through rates and your open rates are going to depend on how valuable the content is that you're sending, and the frequency with which you're sending, right? One of the things that a lot of people will stray away from and stay away from is if you're constantly sending them emails. So I think in general, if you are, you know, sending a drip campaign or triggered emails and you're sending them, you know, 3, 4, 5 times a week, you're probably going to turn your customers off, and they're not going to be as effective. But if you're smart about your scheduling, and you're smart about the content that you're offering, and really put some effort into them, just as much effort as you would any other email, I believe that they can have very similar effects in terms of effectiveness.
Okay, so that definitely answers. I'm sure that the triggered emails are more effective as compared to the others if we just keep it in the right form, in the right volume.
Correct.
Okay, there's another question, that how can we avoid spam in email when we send out such triggered emails? So yes, definitely, even I would like to know that would such kind of emails go in spam, or how can we treat? Do you have any tips for this?
Yeah, actually I have several. For starters, when you're using any kind of email marketing service like Juvlon, you're less likely to wind up in the spam section to begin with. So bonus already there, because that's very helpful to you, because essentially you know, the robotic people, if you will, that kind of figure out whether or not email lands in the spam folder or not, is kind of looking for things that are more popular. So using Juvlon is the first step, absolutely. Second step being kind of take it easy on the salesy language, if you will, right? A lot of the spam emails, if you're actually to open up your spam folder, you know, tomorrow and just kind of look at some of the subject lines that you see, you don't even have to open them up, you can kind of tell that they're just going to be garbage, right? I mean, so you kind of want to keep your sales pitch to a minimum. Just make sure you keep on a professional, even keel. And also avoid all the capital letters and shouty exclamation points. If I see that in an email, even if it doesn't end up in my spam box, I'm getting rid of it. I'm deleting it, right? Because I don't necessarily think that that is overly professional. So those would be my tips. Kind of keep your sales pitch professional, use an email service provider, and try to avoid a lot of the capital letters and such in the, no sentence ever needs 6 exclamation points, let alone in your subject line. So those would be my tips.
Right, right. I think yes, definitely those are definitely useful tips. There's one question that we have: in case of click triggers, what's the best time to send the triggered emails? That like, is it like post click, immediately, or after certain interval? Any suggestions on this, Lisa?
Yeah, I would say within 24 hours, your first triggered email should come through. Now, if you plan to send a series of triggered emails about your company to offer more information, I would set them up over a course of time, right? But that first email that's triggered, if someone clicks on a link in your business, should happen within 24 hours. If you want it to happen immediately, I see no harm in that. But I would say you've got a 24-hour window right there to kind of capitalize on that interest. From that point, I guess you could also set up a triggered email depending on whether or not people actively click on the link sent in that particular email and go from there. Or you could send them, maybe 2 days after that first interaction, you send them another follow-up email. Maybe that one, just says a little bit more about your company, talks about some of the services that you offer. It all depends on how you want to do it, to be honest, but they're certainly effective.
Okay. There's this one more question which I think we have already answered, but I'll still take it up. Is like, how do we integrate this information in the system so that an email will be triggered if someone clicks on another mail? So as I have explained already, the email marketing tool that we have been using, or as Juvlon, we already have this feature, can go ahead and make use of it. There are a couple of other options also available to use triggered emails. So Lisa, would you have anything to add to this?
Yeah, I think one of the best ways is to learn more about it is really to just go into an experiment, a little bit more with triggered emails. Send yourself the test emails, kind of see what they look like, see how they'll work. I think that's a great first step. And I also think that, triggered emails are going to be a tool. They aren't necessarily going to replace every single email that you ever send out to your customers, right? But they are a really valuable tool, particularly in the time-saving effort. And, so that you don't have to interact with, each individual email and set up different lists and, just kind of take some of the monotony, if you will, and the time-consuming efforts out of some of your email marketing. So it's not going to take over everything, but it is certainly going to be a valuable tool for you. So I believe that's how you would integrate it. Start to integrate it in on a slow basis. Try your welcome emails, go from there, learn from that experience, and then build from there.
Okay, this one another interesting question. Uh, this friend of us is having an e-com website, and he wants to know that how do I integrate this with my e-com website for abandoned cart or cart triggered email. So how can we do that, Lisa? Yes,
Can you
Juvlon
repeat that?
definitely has an option for this, but I'm sure our friends would like to hear from you.
Can you repeat that one for me? He wants to integrate it into what particular business?
It's a e-commerce website that he has, and it seems that if somebody has selected an item to be purchased and has abandoned a cart, he has not processed the purchase process. So how does he integrate this with his website?
Yeah, that's another great example of a triggered email is the abandoned cart emails, right? So when someone starts to add things to your cart, you can set up that triggered email so that maybe the next day they get an email that says, hey, notice that you were on my site, that you enjoyed this product, that product, just wanted to let you know your cart's still ready, and give them a call to action button so that they can pick up right where they left off.
Right, yes, definitely. Lisa, we have lots of other questions coming in, but due to the time, we'll close this. We'll take up the questions offline. And I'll just once again, Lisa, thank you for being a wonderful guest for today's session. And I see lots of compliments that have been coming in for today's webinar. And thanks again for being here all the way from US and at such odd time. Thank you again.
Not a problem. Not a problem. It was a pleasure, and you guys can see that my email address is here on this last slide. If you guys have any questions you want to ask, feel free to send them my way via email. I appreciate your time.
Definitely. Audience, thanks a lot to you all also. And with this, I'll end today's session. You all enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you again, and see you soon for the next webinar. Thank you, Lisa.
Yep, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.